Inspire, motivate, challenge.
Thank you very much. So just one last question from me, and on a lighter note, um, it's still based on another controversy. I'm sure if you're on social media, if you're on the internet a lot, you hear a lot about Bill Gates and vaccines, especially with the COVID vaccine coming up, and you hear a lot of people talking about Bill Gates is trying to, I don't know, is it take over the world, or they are trying to poison people with vaccines. You know, it might sound trivial, but there's actually a large segment of people, especially online, who believe these things. So you've talked about Gavi, you've talked about Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Can you maybe just speak to how true or how ridiculous that notion is about the controversy surrounding Bill Gates and vaccination?
Okay, I mean, let me start from saying what I know. And what I know is that Bill Gates through Gavi has actually saved the life of many children and other, even adults within the developing world. Rotavirus, gastroenteritis, for example, it's a diarrhea that killed a lot of babies. Pneumonia, as I told you, Haemophilus influenza type B disease, killed a lot of babies. And for many years, Bill Gates has really shown interest, funding the health, supporting the private healthcare system to avert the deaths as a result of these diseases. So it might be, it might be a bit unfair, even after seeing this, to really throw this kind of potatoes at him, And most of the comments we've been hearing on the social media, they are not actually verified. So one has to really take them with a pinch of salt. Yeah, should we be alert? Of course we are. But I think we should err on the side of safety in actually pointing at accusing fingers on individuals who over the years have actually contributed meaningfully in preventing lives. Should we be, and I must also say that it's also a good development that people are showing interest in the vaccines landscape. People should also, show some sense of alertness too, vaccines generally, if you look at it, vaccines generally have been found to be very, very well tolerable. You have life attenuated vaccines, you have killed vaccines, you have subunit vaccines. Over the years, they've been found to be very safe and effective, right? Most people's fears are the new types of vaccines, like the messenger RNA, right? And so the fears are understandable. I mean, because when something comes new, when you hear the story of what the thalidomide caused back in those years, it's just normal for people to be alert and to be concerned, and which is fine. But I think that's why you have organizations like the WHO, World Health Organization, to actually protect health. So I see WHO actually, pointing the radar on all these trials and ensuring that, and not just WHO, even the national regulatory bodies in all countries, point the radar and ensure that these vaccines are very safe. Because the first thing, consideration in vaccines or any drugs that is being manufactured is safety. So I see that, and so I understand the concerns of the world in general. I understand it, but I think we should, take 2 steps back and not jump into conclusion and start pointing accusing fingers on people who have been quite well-meaning over the years. And I think Bill Gates has really showed himself to really be interested in actually ensuring that the health of the populace in developing world are well protected. That is what I know. But as information is very dynamic, as it evolves, we'll see.
Yeah, thank you. So I mean, basically, with Gavi and the Bill Gates Melinda Foundation, even if you don't believe, or you believe that Bill Gates is trying to do something sinister with vaccine, chances are one of your children, if you've had one in the last 5-10 years,
absolutely,
has probably taken a vaccine that was sponsored by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Virtually every, from 2004, These vaccines were launched into our national program on immunization in 2004. So every baby, so my baby falls into that category. I'm sure yours too.
Yeah.
So many of us within this generation have actually benefited from Bill Gates. So in terms of Bill Gates, I rather presuming innocent, based on what is done historically, supporting the access of vaccines to the developing countries. A lot of lives have been saved as a result of the funding from Bill and Melinda Gates through Gavi, through other financing systems. So it's safer to take it that way. And like I said, is the world understandably have justified reason to be concerned, because if you are going to come out with a vaccine in less than a year, which ideally should take about 5 to 10 years to do, people just have every reason to be very careful about the safety of those vaccines. But I'm very confident that WHO, the regulatory body, and also the national regulatory bodies of the various countries all over the world, we actually have a strict protocol in place to ensure that those vaccines are safe before they are administered to their own populace.